Well, welcome all y'all. Welcome. I know everybody wants to hear about food shortages and Joe Biden threatening Russia, but I'll be honest with you. All right, legit. I'm I'm kind of trapped because my subscribers hand me donations and ask me to sit here and make videos for them. And Tom Pease is not going to turn them down. So NAVISTON donated $20 and asked me to do a video on the geopolitical video on Belize and Latin America and how its geography shaped its culture, as well as a forecast on how the region will change in the next few decades. Man, listen, son, that is a tall order, right? I'll be honest with you. I got like 2 pages worth of info wrote down just as notes, right? A general guideline to get us where we're going. But, you know, I'm going to try my best. I'm going to do what I can do. All right. So let's start talking about Belize, right? Belize is a population of 420,000. It has a size of 8,867 square miles. It's about the size of New Jersey, New Hampshire, or Vermont. Its GDP is 1.7 billion. The life expectancy is 74.9. The average age is 25.5. Its fertility rate is 2.2 kids per woman. The average citizen lives on about $800 a month. 1 in 4 people work in the tourist industry. Its literacy rate is 82%. It has government hospitals and clinics. Education is only from the ages of 5 till 12 as far as mandatory. Only 50% go to high school, and only about 3 or 4% of the population actually ever goes to college, right? It was founded by shipwrecked Brits, and then they fought off the Spanish in Guatemala and ended up forming a, coalition with the British, and they're still currently a commonwealth. The southern half of Belize is still being argued about by Guatemala in the world courts as belonging to Guatemala. The Germans there, who, are ethnically white, are actually Russian Mennonites, believe it or not. But they do speak Pennsylvania Dutch, right? The Russian Mennonites who went to PA, then to Mexico, and then to Belize in the 1800s. Now, Belize is much more aligned with its Caribbean community than it is with Central America in places like Guatemala or Mexico, which it shares borders with, due to the fact of Guatemala wanting to take half of Belize, and Mexico's being full of drug lords and major issues in the Yucatan Peninsula, and the fact that it's kind of underdeveloped and a lot of it is rainforest. So therefore, its closest neighbors that it really has by sea are Puerto Rico, Haiti, Cuba, places of this nature, and Jamaica. Now, its main exports are bananas, sugar, and juice. Right, and it usually goes out of the port of Belize, which handles 98% of the country's exports. It is claimed to be a deep water port, but it is only 30 foot deep, which is a bit of an issue when you look at the size of the tankers today. The size of the tankers, the post-Panama tankers, which is the post-Panama Canal tankers, require 50-foot depth in order to get into. If you look at the map of the United States ports, you can see that there's actually 2 of them in the United States that can handle these. The Port of Long Beach and the Port of LA. And in places like Belize, they have 2 deep water ports, truly 4, but really only 2 when it really comes down to it. It is the Big Creek port and the Port of Belize. So this actually limits their ability to do trade with the wider world. Because when a large super tanker or a large super container ship comes up, they actually have to moor a mile off. They're actually operating on 1980s principles as far as shipping is concerned. So that tends to hold back Belize. Also, the fact that for the past 30 years, they've had a major drop in fertility rates, gone from 4 to just above 2. So that means that their population is not growing. They actually had a piece of their population in the past decade or so where literally they're pretty much below replacement at this point. You add to this the fact that, Belize does not have much of natural resources. It only produces about 4,000 gallons a day of oil. And they say at current estimates, it has about 6 million 6 million gallons of proven reserve oil. That means that in the next 5 or 10 years, they will run out of oil, which is a bit of an issue. They are an import-heavy country. They import about 40% of all raw goods that they need. Their land is not fertile and requires massive amount of fertilizer, or it requires them to have small subsistence farms, which is what they're doing now. And you can see this with the urbanization rate only being at 42%. So when we're talking about geopolitics and places like Belize, I'm sorry. Man, listen, like there's too many, crazily named countries down there. When we're talking about places like Belize long term, it is a beautiful country with a massive amount of tourism, right? Nearly 1 million people a year go here as compared to only the 400,000 who live here. But it is more like an island than it is like a country, because to the south, they have nothing but Guatemala and then Ocean or Gulf of Mexico. To the north, their closest city is Cancun, and it is 6.5 hours away. Mexico City is a 16-hour drive. That is crazy. Once Guatemala and them end up having their territorial dispute, because they only have 940 troops stationed, or actually active troops in the entire country of Belize. They rely heavily on the British to be able to defend them. And I'm assuming with the British and, the United States Defense Pact at this point, the U.S. will probably end up getting involved if Guatemala tries to snatch land away from Belize. But then again, the United States has kind of signed what you would call a prime directive when it comes to Central America and South America, where, yes, the CIA does what the CIA does, but openly and blatantly, we have decided to let them decide for themselves what they're going to do. So where does that leave Belize long term? Well, with a smaller population coming, with, a lack thereof of natural resources, with about 40% of their electricity and heat coming from biomass and wood, and the only things that they grow are bananas, fruit juice, and sugar, they're going to remain Belize long term, right? There's not a whole lot that they can add into anything as far as trade's concerned, as far as land is concerned. Their south is basically all mountainous, and it's all a reserve in which they have decided that it is like they have actually some of the largest, 40% of the land mass is wildlife reserve, so it can't be developed. They have some oil in the interior of the country. Most other oil prospects that they found have struck out. They have one of the largest coral reef, second largest coral reef in the world, besides Australia, and they don't really want to destroy any of that. I personally think that's a good thing, for the world as a whole. So Belize is going to be Belize. In Central America, I'm not absolutely sure what's going to happen here in the next 5 to 10 years, but my guess is they will still remain what they are today. Agricultural societies that have lived as agricultural societies forever. Anyway, look, it's Tom Pease with Pnoid News. If y'all want to donate and have a video made, y'all can do that. Hit the Streamlabs button, leave a message, let me know what you want done. Tom Pease will do it. All right. Like, share, and subscribe. Love you, Navi. Peace, man.